Hello, everybody, and welcome back to NCAA 2004, and we are back. Looking over Tennessee's schedule here because we were playing them once again, back-to-back videos. Rare sighting, but that's what happens when the same teams make it to the SEC Championship all the time. So they did manage to beat South Carolina, which is the biggest game that they needed to win in order to get there, and they grabbed losses to Colorado State and us. And they also would lose the rivalry game to Vanderbilt, interestingly enough, which is what got them to 10-3 on the year. Of course, playing that extra game. I don't know why Tennessee's playing 13 games a year. It would probably increase their odds for the Natty if they just played one less game, but because they're always going to play the extra game of the SEC title game, so that's kind of something I've considered as well. Just there's not really a point to schedule that extra game because we at least are looking for the conference title every single season. So, presumably playing your 14th game in the conference title, probably not the best in terms of endurance for your squad if you're trying to make it all the way to the Natty or even just win your bowl game. So Tennessee really kind of started off on the wrong foot, but there's not a whole lot to really talk about in terms of this matchup after the last video. So I never really intended for this to happen. I kind of was hoping that South Carolina would make it out of the Eastern Division, but they didn't because they lose to Tennessee every year apparently. But I was hoping that would be the case. I was hoping that we'd get a different team here because I didn't see anything interesting enough about the LSU or Auburn matchups to make a video out of those. I figured we would beat both of those teams. Neither of them were really good enough to threaten our position, even if we were to manage to lose one of those games, so I just didn't think they were worth making videos on. But in the future, I'm probably just going to continue to make videos of those games. I'll show more games. I realize this season that we watch the same games every year because those are the games that matter, but next year we're going to try to watch games that we don't typically watch, and we'll make a longer season out of it, and because we haven't seen Ole Miss or Mississippi State in years of doing this series, so I figured now it's about high time late in the series that we start showing some matchups that we don't normally see here. But Tennessee, we got to focus on the game now because Tennessee is already striking early into this game here. A huge pass from Shelton Smith, the sophomore, who we saw quite a bit of in the last game here. It's a huge completion. I'm going to guess to Mo Vaughn. We're going to get another look at it, but I believe it's Mo Vaughn, Tennessee's top receiver, who we've seen quite a bit in the last couple seasons in this series. And he gets a first touchdown here, and Tennessee strikes first blood in Atlanta. But quickly, it's 3rd and 10 here for the Crimson Tide. Barton running from pressure, nearly gobbled up in the pressure, but finds Max Price downfield, and he's got a completion inside the Tennessee 35. And now Barton using some of that athleticism to escape the pressure and get the ball out of his hands. That's something we've seen a problem with all season, but he was able to get rid of it in time. But now it's quickly 3rd and 12 once again. Tennessee forcing a long 3rd down attempt, but Barton able to find Thomas Samples across the middle and whole webbing of players. A very dangerous pass to try and make, but he does nail it successfully. So a good pass from Barton. It looks like Andrew Solomon might have thought he had a chance with it, but when you're running slants, I guess that's the risk you run, running a play like that. So 1st and goal, it's going to be from about the 10 for Alabama, and Barton's going to drop back to pass here. Plenty of time here. Dumps it off short and quickly, and it's going to be caught for another Crimson Tide touchdown. I think again, it's a not so familiar, or no, I thought it was somebody else, but it's Demetri Gleeman. I thought it was one of our receivers, but it's Demetri Gleeman who gets another receiving touchdown. Again, not something we've seen a lot, but he does have a couple of them. I meant to write those down because he definitely does have a couple of those stats on the year. He 100% does. That's not a new thing for him, so 1st and 10 now, it's going to be for the Crimson Tide once again, and Barton through the air again. It's Thomas Samples, and he's off to the races here inside the 10 and gone to the end zone for another huge Bama touchdown. And Thomas Samples has just been one of the top talking points so far this season, man. Well over 1,000 yards in the regular season, and now he's just notching himself another touchdown out of plenty that he's had this year, and that one was just all too easy for Barton and Samples, man. That's just been a connection that we've seen. Think about the great connections you've seen on this Crimson Tide team since Saban has taken over. Nabin has taken over. And this has got to be one of the better ones. It's got to be one of the better ones. And again, they're showing us exactly why, as Barton is going to hit Thomas Samples for another massive deep shot downfield. And now we are once again set up to add some more points here on Tennessee, trying to pad our lead a bit as we only hold on to a 7-point lead late in the first half. Now Demetri Gleeman is going to get involved here, and he's going to get brought down. I have no idea how. That's not a touchdown. He's going to get brought down somehow within the inches between the first down sticks and the goal line. I don't know how that's not a touchdown, but I guess we'll take it. We'll just believe what the game says says, and they're going to mark us down at about the 1-inch yard line. And now we're going to have to line up here and try and knock it in. And now Ryan Barton's going to try and run it in, and he gets absolutely punished for doing so, but he does get the touchdown. So thank you for your sacrifice, Ryan Barton. We appreciate it, and thank you for the touchdown. Now go ice those knees, chap. Go ice your ribs. As we take a 21-7 lead over Tennessee at the conclusion of the first half. So it's a typical story here in Atlanta. We've definitely seen scores like this in Atlanta get out of hand in the SEC title game, and now we're moving on offense once again as Tennessee's offense can really not find any sort of momentum to answer back as Andrew Solomon now getting involved. But quickly becomes 3rd and 7. Tennessee's defense at least trying to fight as much as they can as Barton's going to dump this one off quickly, I think to Barker. I think it looked like Barker, the new 89, along the sideline. And it was Stephen Barker, and I don't think he got to the sticks. I think he stepped out about a yard short. So on 4th and 1, Saban, I don't know why I keep making that mistake now. I've never made that mistake in this series, but Sick Naban now or actually rather going to send out John Bellamy, the kicker, to try and nail home this field goal, and he does. So Alabama continuing to pad the lead here over the Volunteers. It's now 24-7. We are back once again on offense. Tennessee just cannot find that momentum. And now in a whole web of players again. Andrew Solomon was mixed up over there. His guy ended up just going to Thomas Samples. And so in double coverage, Thomas Samples has to come down with it for a completion. And he does get it, man. Good on him. He nails it. Nails it. Look at that. Boom. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. We will take that, man. And it's just been all of those guys right there. 7 and 83 have just been completely running things on offense for the Crimson Tide so far in this game. And Dimitri Galima, man, still doing some stuff too. Not super productive. Remember in the last video, Tennessee found a way to silence his production, and it looks like they're still kind of doing that here, even in the conference championship game. A little bit more contribution to the offense here, but not a whole lot to write home about, but it is still, something. I'll give him his flowers, but another completion to Stephen Barker as well, so Barker's contributing a little bit now more here later on in the game, and now inside the red zone here, Barton back to pass here, dumps it off to the other side. It's Thomas Samples who escapes up the sideline to get inside the pylon for another Bama touchdown. And there you have it, man. There you have it. What more can be said? I mean, Barton's numbers are only increasingly padded now by Thomas Samples' incredible season as well. And between this two tandem, it's just hard to beat us, man. It's just really hard to beat us. You're going to have to snuff out Thomas Samples or apply some pressure to the quarterback if you want to try and stop us. And speaking of pressure on the quarterback, Shelton Smith here is facing some pressure here as he's going to get popped by a couple big players on our defense, and he's going to let go of the football in the process. So we'll get another look at it again here, maybe get a better shot at who did it. And it was Cunningham, of course. It was Kellen Cunningham, one of our MVPs on defense, probably the defensive captain if we had one. And he pops out the football, and now we're taking over in Tennessee territory. And if you can believe it, man, a rare fullback handoff here to Robbie Tanner. We haven't seen a lot of Robbie Tanner this year. It's probably the least amount of production we've gotten from one of the fullback position in the last few years. And there's a reason for that. I mean, it's a huge drop-off. I think he's like a 79 overall, so not really using him all that much. But third quarter comes to a close. It is all Crimson Tide, man. We are completely in control, and Thomas Samples finally lets go of a surefire pass, man. I don't know if it's surefire. He was definitely contested, and Tennessee's DBs did a good job of knocking that one loose at least, but I still figured he had a good shot at it. But either way, so we're going to have to bring up John Bellamy once again to try for another slightly longer field goal, but the kick is up, and it is good. So 34-7 now the score here in Atlanta in the Georgia Dome, as Tennessee's still just struggling and fighting for every single inch to try and get any sort of momentum, and they just cannot do it. So back on offense once again at about midfield, and now Barton's going to run for it, man. We're seeing a little bit of Barton moving with his legs, and we've seen Ryan Barton run the option a lot. We've seen, or at least, Sick Naban's tried to keep that in the playbook a little bit. Hasn't really worked all that well because Ryan Barton doesn't have a ton of speed, but right there we see a little bit of the legs in action. And Dimitri Galima, again, not doing a whole lot in terms of like chunk plays, but he's really keeping these drives alive with these short yard situations, man. He's really helping us out. But on a 3rd and 7, we're going to have to rely on Barton's arm once again. He takes a pass to the back of the end zone, and now it's Stephen Barker, the new 89, getting involved in the back of the end zone with a beautiful pass. I mean, just beautiful. Look at the throwing lane, and just look how gorgeous of a pass, man. Just absolutely finds its way home to Stephen Barker in the back of the end zone. You couldn't ask for a better thrown ball, honestly. So we're going to add some more points here, and Tennessee would add a touchdown themselves, but ultimately would get blown out in another SEC championship game, and we're going to win our sixth let me flip through the notes here. I think it's our 6th straight SEC title game. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it is the 6th straight SEC title game that we've won against Tennessee. Now that's a different one. That's a different matchup here. But yeah, it is going to be our 6th straight SEC victory. So, if nothing else, in terms of national championships, we own the SEC. We run it. I mean, we just completely control it. So you're never in doubt about that, which is funny because it's not like the West has just been completely nothing. Like LSU the last couple seasons has really threatened our position with it, like they've really kind of been in a position. I mean, they beat us that one year and like had an inside track to go to the title game, but they couldn't win out themselves. Like they ended up losing, which kept them out of it. And then outside of that, it's really just only Arkansas that could threaten us as well, and we managed to at least beat Arkansas every single year. So, like, we're not that's us getting 2 opportunities here. And then in the first couple of seasons, we had Auburn, who would always kind of threaten us, but that's really kind of it. So the West, I guess, has gotten a little bit weaker over the years. We haven't seen a lot from Georgia or Ole Miss or nothing, but it's okay. It is all right. We'll be all right. So Ryan Barton wins quarterback of the year. Is someone keeping track of this, dude? I mean, I'm the one who needs to keep track of it, but I think that's like our 4th straight quarterback of the year trophy that we've won in a row. I don't know, but I think we've had 4 quarterbacks win that award now, including Ryan Barton. So, and Ryan Barton also gets Heisman votes. I don't know if we've had a quarterback receive Heisman votes in a while. I think Carlos Cobb might have got some Heisman votes, and maybe Stephen Bentley did as well. But either way, we get Heisman votes. But the biggest important thing here is we're heading back to the Sugar Bowl for the 2nd straight year. But it's not just a Sugar Bowl this time. It is also the BCS National Title game as well, and we are playing against Southern Miss. So Southern Miss and Colorado State have been 2 and 3 in the rankings pretty much all year long, and with an easy schedule, they were never at risk of losing. So now we have to try and take down the Eagles in the Sugar Bowl for another natty. So hope to see you guys there when we go for natty number 3.